Yo, we're live. Excuse me, and recording. Jon Fitch here. Jon Fitch Knows Nothing. This is number 17 for the podcast if you're following along. I got my coffee and my protein drank. I'm ready to go. Are you guys ready to go? Oh, wee. Play a little music, play a little ditty. Guys can sing along if you know it. Gravity is working against me. Gravity wants to bring me down. Won't let it lift weights. Well, I'll never know what makes this man with all the heart his heart can stand. Dream of ways to throw it all away. I can think of a few reasons. Gravity working against me. Gravity wants to bring me down. Oh, twice as much is good and can't sustain like one half could. I disagree, John Mayer. It's wanting more that will bring me to my knees. Once again, I disagree with you, John Mayer. Gravity, stay the hell away from me. Oh, gravity is taking better men than me. Not really. All right. Yeah, I think, I've been learning some of these songs, having fun with some of these songs, and I'm realizing how blue pill a lot of these songs are, how feminized they put the perspective on the guy and stuff, and that's one of them, man. It's a song of a guy struggling with his own biology. Yeah, you want to spread your seed to as many vessels as you can. It's normal. Stop blaming it on gravity. Go with it, dude. But yeah, man, and so I might do an album someday, right? And I already got the title for it down. Is oh man, what was it? Blue Pill Ballads. Jon Fitch's Blue Pill Ballads. It'll be all cover songs of Blue Pill songs. Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. Brainwashing. They're trying to brainwash us, guys. Don't fall for it. Don't let them brainwash you. All right, so what I really want to talk about today was homelessness. Because homelessness is crazy in San Jose. It's getting bad. San Francisco, here it's really bad. I see stuff online. I didn't see much in San Diego. San Diego seemed all right. I didn't get that far around. I don't know. Maybe they're driving it all up to LA. But there's a major problem in the U.S. today with homelessness. And, I wasn't super planning on talking about it, but I saw this thing on YouTube I want to share. I think you guys will. It's gross, but like, this is where we're at. Like, people have been ignoring homelessness for a while, but they can't anymore. I don't think they can. Things are getting too bad, and now you have this type of stuff happening. Check it out.
Team has been tracking crimes where the suspects are homeless. Tonight we have learned those incidents are skyrocketing. Investigative reporter Joel Glover reports on the growing threat linked to the untreated mental illness and drug addiction on LA's streets of shame.
Keep your eye on the woman walking out of this apartment building. A homeless man approaches and suddenly stabs her in the head. There are now thousands of crimes a year like this one. Suspects are homeless, and in many cases suffering from mental illness or substance abuse.
It's so traumatic.
Heidi Van Tassel was walking to her car near Hollywood's Walk of Fame when, according to police and court records, a transient with schizophrenia and psychotic disorders dumped feces all over her.
A bucket of his diarrhea. It was liquid.
Ugh.
Liquid. I was soaked, and I couldn't see. It was coming off of my eyelashes into my eyes.
Paramedics rushed her to the hospital, and she now needs to be tested for infectious diseases every 3 months.
Something I won't ever forget. It was disgusting.
For over a year, the IG has been reporting on crimes where
That's
the
awful.
suspects are homeless, like this guy arrested for setting fire to chairs at a downtown steakhouse, and this homeless man pushing someone in front of a truck. There were more than 6,000 of these reported crimes in LA in 2017.
Damn.
By the end of 2018, the number of crimes was up more than 50%. And now we've learned the numbers are on track to climb even higher this year. We found case after case where the suspects suffer from mental illness or methamphetamine abuse. Meth use has been...
Oh, man. That's wild. So I don't think people can ignore the issue much anymore. Like, the issue is overflowing and pouring into your homes. But you hear incessant talk about bringing in more people, more immigration. Regardless of ethnicity or where you're coming from, like we have this going on. We have these problems here in our streets, and where are we going to put what's going to happen to the immigrants that come in that don't speak the language and have no job skills, have no education? What if they're illiterate in any language? Where are they going to end up? They're going to be on the street, and they're going to be trying to use the social programs that are already pretty maxed out as they are for the homeless people. And all these homeless people, they're not all white people, so it's kind of racist for people not to take them into account, isn't it? I found this Downtown Streets Team website. I don't know if you guys know anything. I don't know how credible these people are. I don't know. But they have some things on here, some numbers, some stats. I like evidence. I don't know how reliable the evidence is. I didn't check that deep. But they have some percentages up here, right? And in that first video we just watched, she says, drug and mental health is why they're all there, but that's not exactly accurate. According to this, they're saying the mental health, there are always 7% of the people who became homeless were because of mental health. Drugs and alcohol, 20%. That's a big one, man. And like the 31% job loss, I'm wondering how much of that job loss was because of the 20% of the drug and alcohol use. Just saying, a lot of these things are connected. So, domestic violence, argument with their family member who asked them to leave. So, I don't know, man. There's some lessons in here, you guys need to be able to be self-reliant, self-sufficient. You shouldn't be able to. You shouldn't have any of one of these things like happen. I mean, the drug and alcohol is a difficult issue, but you need to make sure you're checking your networks and checking everything around you, man. Because if just losing one job right now, if you can sit there and say, "Oh, if I lost my job, I'd be homeless," that's a problem. You need to have some kind of fail-safe. Like, where's your side? Like, develop some side income. Develop something so that you have something else coming in, more money coming in, another alternative. You got to prepare for these things. If you're not ready, man. Divorce and separation puts a lot of people, in a bad spot. It'd be interesting to wonder if those are mostly men who are getting turned to homelessness because of divorce and separation. I'm willing to say yes, because it's usually the wife who keeps the lion's share of the estate, the house, cars, money, everything. I'm willing to bet that those are probably heftily male people going towards homelessness. And that's a big reason why it's probably uncovered. No one talks about it either. It's because it's mostly men, and men are disposable. If it was majority of homeless people were female, you'd see a different conversation happening. What could prevent homelessness? Saying 34% employment assistance, 31% rental assistance, 28% drug or alcohol counseling, 19% mental health services. So I think, the war on drug needs to end, and need to treat alcoholism and drug addiction as diseases, treat them medically rather than criminally. I think that's a big change that will help a lot. The mental health services, yes, we need mental health services. People are going more crazy, and you're getting more shootings, all kinds of crazy shit like that. Not even more shootings. Like, actually, the number's going down, but you still have crazy people snapping off here and there. So we do have a mental health issue going on in this country. But the employment assistance, bring the jobs back. We need to focus on America, right? Let's focus on jobs here and not worry about global issues. Let's worry about our own issues. Let's make our own money and have our own wealth and success. Let's do that. 31% rental assistance. Like, people don't have to live in a big city. I think maybe develop some affordable housing type scenarios where people can move away from cities. Maybe they grow some of their own food. Maybe you set them up, teach them how to make money online so they can live freaking in Oregon, not Oregon, but like Montana or Oklahoma. I think there's a lot of space in Oklahoma, Iowa. I'm sure rent's a lot cheaper there. I saw an apartment building on a college campus at Purdue that was 6 units, 6 two-bedroom units, and it was only like $650,000. You could have bought that and put another $100,000 in. It's less than I paid for my townhouse. I think everybody wants to move in the big, cool, fun city. All right. So there's some interesting stuff there. Also I had another video. Let's see what this video, some more homelessness reporting. LA's homelessness has surged, right? 75% in 6 years. It's insane. There's got to be a reason why they're all coming to California, right? It can't just be the weather.
I've been homeless since 2008.
What's the worst part?
Being out here 24/7.
Guy's been homeless for 10 years. never in human history has it been so easy to stay alive. 100 years ago, it would have died. Within 2 years, probably.
Just living outside in the streets and trying to find some sort of shelter.
Not being able to gravitate towards like a family, invitation.
What would it take for you to get off the street?
I was thinking, get a room, spend little on food, whatever I have left, or eat good, and be out here.
What would it take for you to get off the street?
Oh my God, I don't know. But what I do know is that I will not lose my faith. You can take everything from me, but you will not take my faith.
What's in the way of you getting out?
Oh,
Or getting off the street?
A lot of stuff. Behavior, emotional problems, my AIDS virus,
What was the third thing you said?
nothing, my AIDS virus and stuff, AIDS.
AIDS.
What will help you actually get off the street?
Probably finding some work for myself.
Basically, all I need is like a weekend in a non-shelter just to get a job.
I lost my job in 2008.
Company that I used to work for went bankrupt.
Because I can't find any work for myself.
Yeah, I was a court, part of the system. Prison.
David Hamilton.
Saúl Guerrero Andrade. Henry James.
Julius.
Ali.
That's shitty, man. But what are you gonna do? Some of these people have drug and alcohol addiction problems, and they can't help themselves. All right, what are you guys up to? Phil is back. Stop drinking the protein shake. When you do this, man, drink it before. You don't have to show off. This is the time I have my drink. I'm not putting it down. What's up, Behind the Woods? What's going on, man? So much better way to start with music. You like music? I always start with music. You haven't been around, Phil. That's what's up. Country is the worst. Like, I listen to old outlaw country, so it's not as bad. Like it must be the more newer. Excuse me. You know, Hank Williams Sr. was all about, getting drunk, dancing in the lowdown. I made it sound in a nice way though. Phil. Yep. That way you're not homeless. You're just on the beach. You're just sleeping on the beach if you're homeless in Thailand. All right. He wants to go to jail all 3 hits and God. 3 meals. Is that what you mean? 3 meals and a cot? John says, hey, John, I don't know if you can see this, but try putting your mic volume up a bit if possible. Oh, I'm a little bit quiet. I'm a little bit far away from it. Maybe it's your sound. Phil says Trump needs to build the wall. We need to do something about immigration. What's up, Cardorian? What is the UN Agenda 2030? Sad. Inform us. I love conspiracy theories. Is that the one where they want to make all of us homeless and poor and kill a bunch of us off so that they're easier to control? Yeah. Cordorian says, yeah, there's no accountability. I think that is something that has been erased. There's no accountability for, well, I don't know. No accountability for the people creating the problems, maybe. I think there's a lot of accountability for the people who end up, homeless. Systems that set up allow you to abuse drugs, and I don't know, man. I don't know what the answer is for that. I think you model a system more like Amsterdam, where they have legal drug use, and it's just treated like a medical issue. The drugs are cleaner, people are healthier. I mean, people are going to do it anyways. I don't think you can stop them. You make it legal, but then you teach people why they shouldn't do it, and hopefully that'll be enough to get them, get them away from it. Dorian says, big government, big pharma, big media, big addiction, big problems. Yep, it's all consumerism. That's the problem, right? It's not capitalism. It's consumerism. You're being controlled by your wants. Trying to read you guys. My thing skipped on me here. Get away from the sidewalk labs. You're correct. Cardonian says good. Cardorian. I can't pronounce anything, man. Bad. BCHY Droponic. Oh, BC Hydroponic. See, I told you can't read. What's up, dude? Excuse me. Cardorian, yeah, you're right. He says, break away from the city. I think if you can, I'm kind of stuck in San Jose. I got to make do because I want to be with the kids. I want to be around the kids. I'd love to, move somewhere cheaper. Especially realizing I'm kind of trying to base businesses and stuff like that off of the internet. I want to do, internet-based type businesses, and I don't need to be in certain places. So it'd be better for me to be somewhere cheap, save money, put money towards the future, buy buildings instead of renting space. It'd work out a lot better for me. Enigmatic Elephant says, John, did you get a new mic? Your voice sounds different. You sounding younger, LOL. No, I don't know what that is. I do not know. Turn the clock back. MOB Remember says, you ever seen that YouTube channel, Invisible People? I think I have. I've seen some streams from it. The guy didn't the guy do a long, he did a whatever. He rode the trail where all the people were up and homeless, and he compared different years. I think he's got a bunch of stuff up there. But it's local news, I think, covers it. Local stuff covers it, but it's not on the national headlines, it's not national agenda. They're going to wait until it spills over, boils over. They're going to end up with some riots and shit. People are going to get sick. If there's a natural disaster around in LA, there's an earthquake, if there's a tsunami or something, there's going to get messy because there could also be, some sicknesses, some kind of black plague type situations. So all kinds of bad shit coming if something's not done. And if they want to bring in more immigrants, they're just I'm moving stuff around, sorry guys. Then they're just creating more homeless people. Because unless every immigrant they bring in is capable of stepping in and working a job, like what are they going to do with them? How do you do that? It doesn't make any sense. Like you're in a boat and you're taking on water and you just keep bringing more people onto the boat. Cardorian says political hacks UN Agenda 2030. What is it? Tell us what it is. Give us more details. Send a link. Vincent Joyce says, good morning, fellas. Good morning, John. What's up, dude? Choices. Vincent Joyce says 80% of homelessness is caused by severe mental illness that goes with drug abuse, alcoholism. They need to bring back asylums. Yeah, that's probably a good idea, but it's gonna run into a lot of issues. It just has a bad stigma. Just the term asylum itself has a bad stigma to it. They need to like a camp asylums, something like that. They call it camp. Let's create some camps, right? Because they're already in homeless camps, right? So we just make them nicer, right? So let's section off some area away from the city. Camps. They can have medical treatment. They can grow their own food gardens, right? You can have drug treatment programs, that type of stuff. Why not? Camps, homeless camp. Make it like fun. Homeless camp. Yeah. Instead of, people getting in a knife fight with a shiv and over a sandwich that was thrown away and half eaten, ran over by a tire. That could be better. Kadorian says they can get clean. Yeah, if they had treatment or help or assistance or a reason. Usually, there's a reason why people turn to drugs and addiction anyways. It's they don't really have a reason not to be fucked up. MLB Remember says the system is set up so you can fail so easily and negative things snowball. It's true. Well, I mean that's partially. Excuse me. That's isn't that natural? Isn't that nature? Isn't that nature? Isn't that capitalism? Isn't that nature? Survival of the fittest. If you are incompetent, you fail, and you lose your status in the hierarchy, or you die. Isn't that what happens? You watch the Animal Planet. Isn't that what happens in the jungle? Isn't that what happens in the safari? Whatever. One misstep, alligator just got your leg. It's going to snowball probably pretty bad from there. Isn't that just the way it is? Maybe it's that we're not taught how to build ourselves up so that one of those knocks that happen to us doesn't send us downhill, right? Maybe we learn to be safer around the water's edge. We prepare for bad days and bad winters. I think the failing of the American family, the failing of Western families, I think that's a big problem for this homelessness, because if somebody had one of these hits before, they had a network of people to fall back on. You don't have that anymore. 40% of killed children today are raised in fatherless homes. Like if something were to happen to my boys and they lost a job or they got injured, they got sick, like they're gonna have a couch for a while, I'm gonna help them get back up and get moving. That might not even be possible in a single parent household where the single mothers are working 2 jobs because it's fucking expensive to live in these cities. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's the system that's set up like that. That's just the way it is. We've been conditioned to think that everything's supposed to be easy and everything's going to be all right. But it's not. We're going to die. We're all going to die. Vincent Joyce says old school country is excellent. Yes, it is. Vincent says soy country is pathetic. Sauntry music. Swing tree. That's better. Swing tree. thing skipped up again. You guys are commenting a bunch. Headbox One says, new mic, your voice sounds different. You sound older. What's up? Boxing MMA says, hey John, what's up today, bro? Nothing. We're just chilling, dude. Cardorian says, I'm Eric Wisely, friend from the UFC. LOL. Okay, cool, dude. Who's this? Lenufstret says, hi from cold Sweden. Hello. Nice to see you. What's a terrible name? 1,400 a month. Cardonian says, 1,400 a month, own your own home. Well, that's the problem with a lot of the places right now to buy your own home is, you don't have the 20% down, right? So you have $500,000 to $600,000 house. So you need 20% of that in order to buy the place and get yourself in for $2,000 to $3,000 a month in mortgage insurance and all the other stuff that goes with it. So most people, they're in school debt. They're in debt from school already, so they never able to get that money saved to buy a house. Their rent is more than mortgage a lot of times. So it's almost like it's set up to keep you from purchasing a home. They want to just string you along and keep making you pay off your debt and renting as long as possible. Enigmatic Elephant says, people keep mocking me in your chat, John. This is cyberbullying. Can we get Cosmopolitan an article written about this? Let's do it. At Box One says, what do you think about people who wear ear pods? I have some. I don't care. Whatever. I have a problem with the people who wear them and talk real loud. Oh, yeah, on the phone, whatever. Shut the fuck up. Put the phone in your ear and then go hide yourself. I don't need to, we should just give out fake ear pods to a lot of the crazy people, because then it just looks like they're not talking to themselves. They're on a phone conversation. People will leave them alone. At Boxer One says, enigmatic. If you were trans, then you might get an article. No love for the white man these days. Did you just gender him? You heard the enigmatic elephant says I heard they have huge dogs. God, you guys always talking about wieners. Box One says, in London, some homeless beggars dressed down for their role make $40,000 plus a year and are well off. BBC did a big about this. Big story. Did a bit about this. I gotcha. Yeah, it's there's a number of people I've seen, make decent money on the corner. And there's people around here. I think there was some lady that stood in the corner and somebody followed her and videotaped her. She would park her Range Rover or something in the parking lot someplace, and then would put her ratty clothes on and then walk over and make a few $100 to $1,000 a day at this one corner. And somebody noticed her and started filming her. I can't remember what that story was from, but it happened. I know it happened. I saw it. Cardorian says the agenda to overtake the country with other people from other nations, poverty, inflation, drugs. That's the UN 2030. Enigmatic Elephant says, don't say BBC, para might come in here and tear shit up. That's true. That's what I was thinking the first time we were going to make a BBC comment. Oh, do I have a Vincent with the $5 super chat? Thanks a lot, bro. That's awesome. Really appreciate that. I'm not logged into my other thing. I've been doing some updating stuff for the website and I've been getting work done. So a lot of stuff coming. I think good stuff coming. Box One says, if John stopped doing these, I would turn to drugs and addiction. Yeah, be addicted to. Jon Fitch knows nothing. Spread the word. Get more people hooked on my heroin-esque flavors of know-nothingness. Cardornium says naturalism. I'm big on naturalism. Let it be. I mean, you need to put certain restraints in because organisms can end up putting themselves in a situation where they kill themselves off. So we need to fight against monopolies, that's for sure. Crony capitalism is bad. Scott Innes says, George Masvidal wants to box Canelo. George wants that Canelo money. You're straight, telling the truth, and good for him. Good on him. If these guys had any nuts at all, they would get boxing licenses and just fight each other in a boxing match. George Masvidal should fight Nick Diaz in a boxing match. They should promote it themselves. They should be their own promoters. The UFC couldn't do dick about it because they're protected by the Ali Act. They would make a lion's share of the money themselves. They wouldn't make Canelo money, but they would make, I would say safely, twice as much than the UFC would ever be willing to pay them if they just did it all on their own the first time. And then they may be able to build it up even more. All right. They're the names. People are there to see them fight. Scott N. also says, supposedly Darren Till is helping Tyson Fury transition into MMA. Why would Tyson Fury even do that? He got paid $15 million. Yes, million for his WWE circus stint. Yeah, it's just a publicity stunt. It's publicity. Although it could be he wants to compete. I say there's a 15% chance that he wants to compete. Moreover, I think it's publicity. You know, it gets clicks, people buzz, talk about him, and it's another bargaining chip, right? Because he can be like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, and these all make me money, and they make me a lot of money. So if you want me to fight this guy for this title and take this risk, you're gonna have to pay up. I think that's part of why he's doing it. He gets more juice. He gets more juice around that factor. Ooh, tantalizing. Excitement. There's buzz all around it. Vincent Joyce says, because Tyson... Oh, here we go. Vincent Joyce says, because Tyson is a warrior who has wonder in his heart. Like I said, I think 15% chance that's possible. Cardorian says, what's the difference between them and us? Nothing but choice. Choose to survive. Yes, rule number one. That's what we talk about here quite often. Rule number one, survive. Rule number two, reproduce. Reproduce. You can't control the future unless you're birthing it. You cannot control the future unless you're birthing it, unless it comes from your balls. The universe must come from your balls, guys. Reproduce. Find a quality vessel and reproduce. Enigmatic Elephant says that answer. Yep. Yep, that's what men do, says Vincent Joyce. Enigmatic Elephant says Vincent just dunked on him because he's a warrior with wonder in his heart. That's a wonderful sentiment. Scott N says, why does every single MMA fighter want to box every single elite, world-class professional top 1% boxer? Because the Ali Act allows them to have actual free agency. They will actually make market value for their name. They won't have the UFC siphoning off and stealing the majority of the money, even though they'll probably still get their hands on it. Like with Conor. Conor was still too much of a girl, too much of a puss to do it on his own. He gave the UFC 25 to 35% of his promotional company, his boxing promotion. Why? I have no idea why. I think he was trying to avoid any kind of a legal battle, which he would have won. It just would have taken a little more time. I could see how maybe he thought he would miss the opportunity, but he still bitched out, I think. He gave up 35% or 25 to 35% of the money. He didn't have to. That's why. Excuse me. Enigmatic Elephant says, I'm drinking a soy latte, listening to Soy Tree, riding my soiter in my soy country. Oh, man. Is it pumpkin spice? Is it a pumpkin spice soy latte also? You can smell the pumpkin spice from here. Elephant. Go do some handstands. Cardorian says my name. What? Am I saying it wrong? Cardorian? Or Cardo Ryan? Maybe that's your name. Cardo Ryan? I don't know. I don't know. I just learned how to read. Visit Joy says, delightful, enigmatic. Cardorian says, it's hard, not impossible. Jason Peterson says, George Masvidal said he is 10 times more the athlete than Canelo. Haha, good joke. And I love George Masvidal, and I'm Team MMA. I mean that's a speculative definition, I guess. Athlete, like more of an athlete. What does that mean? You know, it's so arbitrary. You could be anywhere. Like one more money, more popular, can bench press 225 more times, can run a faster 40, can run a faster 100, can run a faster mile. Like there's so many different criteria that fall into good athlete, better athlete. I don't know if you can argue that for anybody. You'd have to come up with a list of like attributes that make you a better athlete or make somebody a better athlete. Excuse me. Charlie says, did you want to go pro in other sports as a kid? Yes, my entire childhood and life up till 18 years of age was I was going to be a pro football player. Right? When I first started playing in the 4th grade, I wanted to be like Howie Long. I wanted to be a nose tackle, and because that's what I played that year. I was really good at it. I really played running back too. It was okay, but I played that because I didn't like the line. But I loved nose tackle because I could disrupt everything because I was like explosive and just would not give up. And kids were easy to trick. I figured out kids were easy to trick. I could line up with my helmet pointing one direction at nose tackle, right? He's the guy in front of the center, the guy that snaps the ball. And I could point my helmet in one direction and then go the other direction. And the guys, they couldn't figure it out. Like 4th, 5th, 6th grade, they had no idea. Like, this guy just disappeared, coach. Like, his helmet was right pointing this way. So, like, I would just play these games of misdirection on the center. And it's usually, at that age, it's like a fat kid who's usually not very athletic. It's like the kid that can do one thing. He can hike the ball. So, like, I would just be an animal and eat these guys up on the 4th grade defensive line. There was no escape. But, yeah, and then I transitioned into middle linebacker and fullback, like high school, running back. And I thought I was going to, be bigger and faster than I turned out. So, good thing I had been wrestling since 4th grade also. Cordonia agrees on that rent comment. Oh, man, you guys are back far away. Canelo Alvarez, Peterson says Canelo Alvarez is the next Floyd Mayweather. He's going to make a lot of money, probably, and, there's probably not a lot of guys out there that can fight him and beat him right now. Excuse me. Box One says we should send Herschel Walker to China to sort out this mess. I think so. He might figure it out. Jason Peterson says, if you really think about it, homeless make a lot more than your standard minimum wage job. Incentives, guys. Human behavior revolves around incentives. If you can figure out the incentives that are paying off, you can figure out a lot about that person. Bam. I don't know where the bam came from. Charlie says, have you seen it heard from Mark Kerr? The Rock is supposed to do Doc by him. I've heard stories. I've heard that that's going to happen. I don't know. It's just something that's being talked about. I don't think they've shot anything yet. Vincent Joyce says, late start over here, brother. Off to outline, and then Jim, have a coffee on me, bro. Awesome. Thanks. I really appreciate that, dude. Yep. Jason Peterson says, Jon Fitch knows nothing. That is the name of the show. Jason Peterson says, Jon Fitch is a red belt in fighters' rights and union. No, association, not union. Union is under one entity. We went free agency, not to be employees. And he says, thank you very much, John. No problem. Jason Burmess in the house says, can't happen without the UFC. The UFC has them under contract, hence why Conor couldn't just promote with Floyd. I think that is debatable because under provisions in the Ali Act, like that relationship isn't supposed to exist. So them being able to say that they can't do that, that could go to a court, in my opinion. I think that because they act more like a manager, and like so much of their so much of their argument is that we're not boxing. So if they're a separate industry, like there's literally, I don't think there's any reason why they wouldn't be able to do that. Like that, their contracts shouldn't be binding. I mean, there's arguments that could be made. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. But, yeah. I've had conversations with lawyers, and it's possible. Jason Peterson says, once you sign that dotted line in the UFC contract, Dana is Santa Claus and you turn into an elf. Pretty much. But there are federal laws that protect you in boxing. And once you become a boxer, that those federal laws, like you could say, oh, I retired from MMA. I'm a boxer now. And I don't think there's anything they could do to you. And then you could unretire yourself after the fight. Your contract would be put on pause by them, but like you should be free to do another sport. Jason Peterson says Ben Askren has the best blueprint in how to defeat Douglas Lima, John. I think he has the second best. Jason Peterson says 3 more days for payday. That is one nice thing about it, the slave wage job. You know when the money's coming. They can make you soft, though. Jason Peterson says Conor McGregor is a legal voluntary slave. Most people are. A lot of people volunteer for it. It's weird. But it's a human condition, I think. It's incentives. If you can provide the incentives, people will line up for it. Jason Peterson, Conor McGregor is the typical teacher's pet, and Jon Fitch is the typical brave student that gets kicked out of class for speaking out. True. Yep, something like that. Jason Peterson says, do you like and or eat instant noodles? I have these things I get at Costco that are yakisoba noodles. These are microwavable. It's kind of my guilty pleasure because it's just so easy. It's so much easier than cooking rice. But the rice is better. Vlada says, good idea for t-shirt, Jon Fitch, Soy Army. Yes, no. No, we are the defeaters of the soy, right? We are the crusaders. We're the crusaders against soy. We should have like a knight in a full armor, like stabbing soy. Dorian, real name is Carl Kelly. All right, Carl. Thanks for stopping by, Carl. Boxing MMA says, that's what I like about Bellator. They seem to give fighters the option to do what they want. A little bit more, there's, a little bit more meritocracy there, but that's it's really on sales because, like, if you make money, then you have more leverage. Enigmatic Elephant said, I heard guys who do a lot of handstands are great athletes. Yep. See, it's one of those things. It's one of those debatable things. I can't do a handstand at all. Does that mean I'm a terrible athlete? I kind of am. I just beat people up good. Nico says, soy army, you mean Antifa? Boom, boom, boom. I'll give you the rim shot on that. Jason Peterson says, 13 watching, 19 right now. Give it the thumbs up, fellas. Don't be stingy if you can do it. Charlie G, I'm talking to Jon Fitch. Yep, you're talking to me. Peterson, 10 likes, 0 dislikes. Oh, we're not doing it right. We're a bubble if nobody's saying thumbs down. Jason Peterson says UFC is the McDonald's of MMA, pretty much. I want steak, and all they got are Big Macs. Jason Peterson says Bellator is the Burger King of MMA. This is not the Taco Bell. Jason Peterson, Combate Americas is Chipotle, Taco Bell. Oh, diarrhea. Vlada says to Nico, check out Ergon Density video, self-defense for snowflakes. Too funny. You should put that in a link on the comments after the video's over. I wouldn't mind watching. Kurt says Vancouver has a bad homeless problem. Drugs are basically legal, and needles and drug suppliers are handed out where I work. It's a Band-Aid solution. Well, is it legal or is it just decriminalized? There's a difference, I think, with some of the drug stuff. Because if it was legal and people could profit off of the selling of it, then I think you would have quality controls. You would want repeat business. So you would probably put effort into not killing people. I don't know. Maybe I'm foolhardy in thinking that. But I mean, like, Amsterdam has stuff like that, I think, and it works pretty well for them. Jason Peterson says one championship is the Panda Express. You're going to get us banned. Jason Peterson says, did you ever see the Nick Diaz and Ray Gracie boxing sparring session? I bet it probably wasn't that great. I didn't see it, no. Charlie says Dana wants to take over boxing. Yeah, he's going to try. That's why he created the BMF title, so he could see if he could put a fake belt out there and people would fight for it and people would cheer for it, and they did. Now he said himself, he's going to circumvent the sanctioning bodies. That's the people who control the belts. WBO, there's 4 major ones. It's like the green belt and some of those other ones. But yeah, he's going to try to ruin that too. Enigmatic Elephant, I need to drink coffee so I can drain the swamp. TJ says, hey, John, do you think if someone gives homeless money, they end up being reinforced and it attracts more homeless? So a city to not have homeless would be not to give them help. I think it's the wrong type of solution. It's an incentive. Like, there's no incentive for them to get better. So if you create, a camp type situation where they can get better, where they can find community, where they can have a bed and a roof and meals, there's incentive for them to do that. You could also have, drug treatment and medical stuff there also. that seems like decent incentives for people to do that. And I think the cities could probably save money if they spent the money that they spent on cleaning up the filth. If they spent that on these type of facilities, I think that would be incentive. I think people would rather that. Hey, would you want to go to jail and then end up or sleep in the street and with the rats biting you when you're passed out? Or we have this camp, you have your own bed, you have to do some work and some chores and do a little farming, but you can have a dog. I don't know, like you can take care of the pigs. Like maybe there'll be animals there. They feel like they're needed. I don't know. Just keep throwing money at them. I don't think really helps. Charlie says, how strong did GSP feel? Any strong as F comes to mind. Trevor Prangley was strong as F. Anthony Johnson. Anthony Johnson. Big Anthony Johnson. Even when he was like 185, 190, he was super strong. Herschel Walker, super strong. Oh, that's it. Cardorian Soy Boy Slayers. That's it, man. Soy Boy Slayers. An army against the soy. Stand against the soy. Soy Boy Slayers. SBS. That's it. That'll be our army, our secret army. The Fitch Smash Soldiers will be the Soy Boy Slayers. Jason Peterson, Ben Ashman seems like a legit nice guy in real life. Fighting. Have you ever met him? I understand why a lot of people don't like him in his UFC career, but he seems like a nice man. Yeah, we stayed together when we were stayed in a condo together. Not condo, hotel. We stayed in a hotel together. Shared a room when we were lobbying Congress for the Ali Act. Super smart guy, super funny. Yeah, we got along. I liked him. I talked to him on the phone a couple times about about Ali Act and about the Fighter Association type stuff. And like that dude, he doesn't give two fucks about fighting. He doesn't care. It was like he was like how Tom Erickson took it. It was just like a hobby, just some gig. I'm gonna go make some money. Like whatever. Doesn't really care that much about it, win or lose. But it was just outclassing. He was outclassing people because they couldn't stop his wrestling. Jason Burma says Askren is 1 and 2 in the UFC. What is next? I mean, whatever. Like, that's not his main source of income. Like, that's his hobby. It really is. Like, it's just his hobby. He's a hobbyist. He's not a professional MMA fighter at all. That's not his profession. His profession is a wrestling coach. He has a bunch of stuff that he runs, coaching stuff that he runs online, and he just happens to fight and make money at it every once in a while. Joan Crawford, I want to pull your beard. Let's see. Boxing, MMA says the Alpha Army sounds better. Ooh, Alpha Army. That sounds good. Why do you get the black thumbs down on it, Phil? What's that about Phil Baroni with the thumbs down? Matic Elephant says, John, I meant to ask, do you ever use dumbbells? I notice almost all of your stories have barbells. Yeah, I don't have any in my house. I got to buy some dumbbells. I like dumbbells. I would prefer to do dumbbell bench. I need to get dumbbells. Maybe for Christmas I'll treat myself. But I just don't want to spend any money right now because I spent enough. I need an incline, decline bench, and I need some dumbbells. That's next on the wish list. That's what I want. That's what I need to get. Kettlebells, he says kettlebells too. You use those. I do have some, but I don't have very heavy ones, so I use them for like my cardio workout stuff. Sometimes I'll use them. I can do some triceps and other things for mobility, but I don't use them much. I only have 2. Jason Peterson says PFL is the Wendy's of MMA. Phil Baroni says 1 championship blows. I think they're laundering money, probably. Enigmatic Elvin says it's kind of trippy to think we're the same size, but you'd be facing death if I had to cut down to 170. I'd be facing death at the 170. Did you start out with a smaller set weight and grow into a bigger frame? I've kind of been I say freshman year of high school was about 176. And I've maintained 176 to about 205. Sometimes I've gotten fat and gotten 217. One time I had a broken thumb and I got fat and I was drinking a lot of beer and I got fat. But mostly that range since I was 14 years old. All right, so Phil says they should hire the homeless to build the wall. That's not a bad idea. But if they're all crazy and on drugs, they're not going to build anything. It's going to be a weird-looking wall. Boxing, MMA, says to Phil. Great idea, actually. Yeah, Phil says, I know. Phil is actually full of great ideas. Cardorian says, give them money all the time, yet the homeless grows. Yeah, it's not going to work. Charlie says to Phil, the best ever. Oh, Phil Brownie says, you said you got no thumbs down, so I gave you thumbs out. All right, thanks for that. Thanks for keeping us balanced. We don't want to be in a bubble here. And Boxer One says, would you say Bruce Lee was an alpha male? I want to say something controversial. I think Bruce Lee was one of the best salesmen of all time. I think he was an absolute astounding salesman. Charlie says, that's real Phil Baroni for you casuals. Yeah, it is. Boxer One says, Phil Baroni as a guidance counselor. Yes, Phil should work at the local high school. I'm sure that won't turn on any problems. Enigmatic Elephant says Bruce Lee equals monk mode God. Adbox One says to Phil Baroni as a pastor. Boxer One says to Phil, do you like Yoel Romero? Enigmatic Elephant says Bruce Lee never actually fought professionally, I believe. Yeah, you're right. There's stories about him fighting a long time ago, whatever, but like there's no evidence, there's no proof. Who knows if he ever fought? I have no idea. I know. We'll play some more blue pill ballads. TJ says, how can Jones and Israel fight? Same height, but why are they so different in weight? Could they fight at catch weight? Well, Jones is a little bit older, so he's had more time to mature. His body's a little thicker and more mature, man strength. But yeah, man, muscle mass carries a lot of weight. Phil Baroni says my favorite. Phil Baroni says he's an actor. Yeah, Bruce Lee was an actor. We'll agree with that. Salesman, actor. But he was great, man. He sold what he was selling, man, and people bought it. People bought it hook, line, and sinker, and they're still buying it. Have a good day, guys. Check you later. I used to spend my nights out in the bar room. Liquor was the only love I've ever known. You rescued me from reaching for the bottom, and you kept me from being too far gone. Your wrist smooth as Tennessee whiskey. Your wrist sweet as strawberry wine. You're as warm as a glass of brandy. Honey, I stay stoned on your love all the time. I used to spell, whatever. Have a good one, guys. I'll check you later.